Welcome back to the Sovereign Way, dear ones. We are in a beautiful season of teachings with an electromagnetic field of beauty, lightness, and allowing. We chose beauty this year because it is an ever-present emanation of something timelessly exquisite, a promise of renewal. No matter how dark life is, your reasonable mind can always find something beautiful to behold, even if it's as small as a mustard seed. That spark is all it takes. And we chose lightness because the poise held in surrendered suspension is a buoyancy device when the weight of life drags us down. Come to me, all ye who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. That's Matthew 11:28-30. And we chose allowing because we are entering a level of consciousness where the striving and architecting and constant outlining and designing and manifesting no longer applies. In this new vibrational universe, your mind and energy is unified in Christ, and you can trust that your heart's desires and mind's visions are known by the providential agencies of creation, and you need only allow the natural unfolding of your life. Now, if you've just joined us in this series, don't worry, you can go back and watch it from the beginning to experience the overall effect of ontological ascension. If you're new, go ahead and type in the comments wherever you are, say, I am here. And if you followed along from the beginning, type in, I am here. Because then I can see if my words are being heard and there's any point to me at all. You can be my visual aid, you can be my external validation, and you can feed back to me, are you here in this field of beauty, lightness, and allowing? Type it in. I am here. So after we set the electromagnetic field of beauty, lightness, and allowing, we began our exploration. We looked at Genesis. Where better to start than in the beginning? And in Genesis, we discovered the basic quantum principles of what we are. I already always am. I am light. I am good. I am becoming. So we see that we are source, spirit, and substance, a trinity, indivisibly whole in and of God. And we saw that the paradigms that we make agreement with, the knowledge of good and evil, integrate into subconscious mind to become the creative frameworks that command spirit to move the substance. And now we have what we recognize as manifest form. And that proved to us that as long as we are intimate with our core values and loyal to what matters most, what truly matters most, not what we think we want, not what we think we need, but what truly matters most, then we will always be in our spiritual relevance and belonging in the world, no matter how fast it seems to be moving, and how deserted we sometimes feel when we're lost in the shadow valleys and God seems to have turned from us. Humbling ourselves then to our core values brings us home. And all of this wraps up as the first spiritual mastery of your enlightenment, remembering. And, well, if you remember what you are, then you can also recognize what you're not. And that's the second mastery that we covered. So we played with different methods of discernment, really deepening our ability to notice the difference between truth and falsehood, structure and essence. When am I being and doing as Christ? And when am I whizzing along in one of the many systems of unconscious inhumanity? And we explored the complicated energetic algorithms of relationship and discovered that it is only in true relation that we can know God, because God is inherently relational. It is not just a reflective hologram, that world out there, it is the body of God. So here we are now moving into the third mastery, which is releasing. Because if you remember who you are and what game you're playing, you recognize which rules and players apply and which don't, and you recognize when your energy is entangled with matters that don't matter and need to once more become cohesive in your core values, now you can practice releasing. So for the next couple of weeks, we'll be exploring releasing. And when I say exploring, it is both a metacognitive inquiry and a vibrational inquiry. So if you're following along in these teachings and you're in true participation with this work, you will experience a phenomenal release and uplift in these next coming weeks. True forgiveness, true mercy, and true alchemy that dissolves the ties that bind and delivers you home into the divine stream of belonging and becoming. Ooh, doesn't that sound refreshing and restorative? Sounds nice. And the process is easy when you allow the mechanics of it to work. Because after all, you have accepted the challenge. You chose to be an awakened and ascending master, sovereign in your life, knowing I am life, I am light, I am good, and I am becoming. And it's time to power up. Becoming means release. So it's time to draw in all the energy, draw in all the power and all of the skill available to you here and now and activate it, ready to go. Christ is returning, and your emancipation as sovereign love is a part of it. But there's still some stuff you need to let go of before you'll let yourself become who you are. So we enter releasing. And this takes courage. Because for true release, true renewal, you must be willing to stand still, waiting in the midst of the crumbled debris and rubble of those majestic cathedral structures you once created for yourself. It was all meaningless anyway. Hevel, hevel, says the teacher in the book of Ecclesiastes. It's all hevel. You will not reach what's coming for you when you are reaching for it from those structures that you built. But you would never be here if you hadn't built those structures. So give yourself a break. Ecclesiastes is a powerful teaching, famous for its summary, hevel, hevel. Everything is hevel. Now, most English Bibles translate hevel as meaningless. So it sounds like meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher, utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. And this is a good teaching to help us detach from the idea that anything substantive, anything manifest has any innate meaning other than what we place in it. But yet meaningless doesn't quite capture the heart of the teaching. Hevel actually translates more correctly to vapor or smoke. All those things you get so attached to and so self-righteous about, they are dust particles that are moving. Hevel. So then it sounds like vapor, vapor, says the teacher. Utterly vapor. Everything is utterly vapor. Dust particles that are moving. And that's why the teacher in Ecclesiastes concludes that the only thing to do is to eat, drink, and be merry in your work today, for the rest is meaningless. Now, when you're in ascension, which you are, if you don't stand still for a moment at the threshold, you drag all that old dust with you. So rest assured, when God holds you in place in the wreckage of your old paradigms and refuses to let you storm off into your expansion, it is a good and holy protection. Wait. And it feels like rock bottom. Nothing's working. Everything I knew is broken. Nothing new is emerging. You're in a compression chamber and the walls are closing in. And nothing makes sense. What could possibly be the purpose of this now? Why this? Why now? Meaningless. Meaningless. Everything is meaningless. At the threshold, there is no reasoning anymore. How could there be when reality has changed? Your dreams have changed and the rules have changed. You're ascending into a new dimension and it's not the same as it was. Therefore, you have no ground for reason. And you have to release all your mastery and submit to the mystery. That's why you're being held here at home. Home is where we tap into the courage that will carry us across the threshold, because the expansion is bigger than us. What is coming is bigger than you can currently handle. True expansion is bigger than our egos, which means you can't fake it till you make it. You'll never make it if you fake it. You need true courage. And this iteration of courage doesn't come from your stubbornness and your pride. It doesn't come from your self-righteous claim that you know what you need. It doesn't come from the instant gratification endorphin hit when you see a manifestation come true. It doesn't come from your insistence to keep driving forward in the wrong direction. True courage is not force. It's power. You see, true courage is actually the momentum that keeps you moving steadfastly forward in your life's becoming, even when the next step is frightening and you don't have all the answers. A momentum occurs when your life force is cohesive and not tied to all sorts of matters that don't matter. If you knew what was going on, you wouldn't have the courage to go on. What's coming is bigger than you, and you must rise to meet it. When stepping out into the unknown, as you are now doing, you are stepping out into doing more of what you love, being more of who you love, and the structures around you must change to accommodate a new essence. And there will be many along the way that do not understand. And there will be things that you used to rely on that will now dissolve by the law of diminishing return. Suddenly that morning coffee doesn't fulfill you as much as it used to. And the people you've been using as scapegoats can no longer be blamed for holding you back. The crutches are gone. So that means your power is returning and becoming stronger. And what you need to know for this season, and now have permission to trust, is that you will be supported and guided with exactly what you need. It does not have to be excruciating. Think of how a child who loves playing with her doll one day just puts it down and moves on. The doll falls away and new adventures beckon. Trust that you will always be fulfilled. Now, there are no legal guarantees, there are no physical guarantees, of course, because this is not a fact to those who believe in illusions, but illusions are not facts. In truth, there is nothing to fear, because you are the momentum of creative life force, and you can never be separated from this endless provision and love. It's very easy to recognize this. You only need a mustard seed of faith to open a floodgate of true courage. And you do this by recognizing, I know this power. And this is Hevel. And behind the Hevel is Mana. But it is very difficult to recognize it for those who want illusions to be true. Because this power doesn't come from structures and illusions, identities and outlines, cultures and narratives. It doesn't come from what's in the news. It doesn't come from what your boss told you. It doesn't even come from what you told you. If you want illusions to be true, then it's very hard to recognize the source of true power. Which illusion are you wanting to be true? Which illusion are you so desiring to be right about, making you fear what is required to release the Hevel? What body image are you holding yourself to? What income level are you holding yourself to? What vocation? What Hevel is your prerequisite for love? You've already decided. You don't want to be living in the patterns of your old identities. You don't want the hassle of controlling others' opinions of you. You're not overly attached to the reality you've created so far, and you are ready to step up and step out. You have unleashed the momentum of life force, and like a sacred crystal tone in a sea of vibration, your embodied prayer is released from the heart of every cell into the body of love. Your life is going to expand, and the tectonic plates of your reality will shift. To have deep compassion and grieve for the things in your life and in our shared world that will crumble and fall away. Take time to mourn. But do not confuse structure for essence. No matter how adversity manifests, the power that moves you along and keeps you going is always with you. True courage. Let's journey together in vibration. So come into poise, sit where you are, settle into comfort, and trust that you are safe. And close your eyes if you like to, and let your breathing steady itself, and intend to enter the garden of your creative mind and imagine. Imagine that you are small. Imagine that you are in the tiniest identity you ever wore, bringing yourself into your smallness, into your weakness, and the darkest depths of your crippling anxiety. You remember this place. You've been here many times. Despair at rock bottom. Here again. Just as the last time you were here, paralyzed beneath the crushing weight of life down here where no one can hear you. where the walls close in on you and you are cold and empty and numb. The last flickers of hope dim, squeezing the last breath of your tired lungs, and you are defeated. And yet, just as the last time you were here, from somewhere inside, from a tiny microcosmic flash, a tiny quantum ignition spark, a whisper that says, breathe, breathe, rise up. Rise up, little one. I have been with you the whole time. I am the comforter. I am the nurturer. I am the spark of life that is never separate from you. I am the gentle pulse that brings you the vitality to rise up. I am the subtle breath that fills every muscle with just enough strength to rise up. I am every challenge you've ever met. I am every lesson and every blessing that have made you exactly as you are, and the very one I need you to be so you can rise up. I am the flow of electricity that ignites your meridians. I am a lightning bolt of love. I am in the next baby step you take. I am in the lungs that now fill with the deepest breath you can muster. I am in the howl you release into the depths as you let this power move through you. I am the power that moves galaxies. I am the power that commands every cell to rise up and out of every lie that you were ever told about who you are. I am in every loving word you ever spoke, in every heart you ever touched, in every life you ever changed, and there have been more of them than you'll ever know, darling. You have always been a hero. You have always been imperative to life, and you are here now for a reason. I am that I am, and I am invincible, everlasting, and I am every cell in your body, every wave in your biofield, and every ripple in every corner of creation as reality shakes and shifts because of your new declaration. You and I are one, and we will rise up. I am your courage. I am the Lion of Judah. Step out upon the water. I am courage. Let the electrical power surge settle like champagne bubbles in a freshly poured crystal flute. No longer electric, but known in the bones. I am courage. And return fully here and now. Say thank you, Jesus. And remember. And now there is inspired action to take. to clear the debris, to clean out the garage. But do let the upgrades sink in and continue to hold poise as things shift. And then next week, I'll take you through a biblical protocol, the alchemy of true release, and we'll clear the garage of our subconscious dusty old archives, and we'll give our entire beings a spritz. Thank you for watching. By the way, if you enjoy these teachings and you'd like to support this independent ministry, there are a few ways you can do that. You can join the Oasis, and that is our study group, an inner circle where we practice metacognition, energy work and prayer. And if you want to work with me privately, reach out through the Facebook group, The Sovereign Way. And you can also donate through the link wherever you're watching this, on YouTube or on Facebook. And now it's time for us to end this live stream and open the Oasis. Hello, my friends. It's good to see you.